All right, I have returned. And let's see. Yeah, if you're still around here, Marcus, yeah, I was just wanting to make sure I did not have tags that were the wrong tags. I try to make sure, because we have a mixture of things. We got like front end, we got back end, like more AWS focused, like infrastructure stuff going on different streams. You are still around. Well, hello. Hello again. So I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't put the wrong tags on the stream before I started, which ties right into the thing that I'm working on, which will be a way to make sure that I have the right tags on the stream. So what was I doing? I was looking at this component. So you can switch direction. Excuse me. Do I not want a stack? Maybe I just want just a container. What if can I just do like a box? Yeah, there's no spacing for box. That's fine. Let's just do that and see what that looks like. Wherever. There we go. That's something. Also, what's going on with the title? Okay. Well, let's go back to. I have too many things open. Let's go back to the stream info editor. Why is this like this? Text field. It cannot be all things to all people. Sure. Type ID. Let's see, text field. Right, important that we are on v5. Make sure. Oh, and then that doesn't keep me on. Okay, let's go back to here. So we're on v5. We're looking at text field. Text field, right? So some things to think about. Those modern active and inactive animations and controls annoy me to no end, especially when providers forget to make the default text disappear when someone enters their own text after releasing on a login page. Yeah, I think I've definitely run into this before where that title is still there. Although I have a bunch of places where, okay, so this might be like a variant thing. Like we can do a different variant, like outlined. There we go. What's the other variant? Filled? There, and that doesn't have that problem. I think it's that standard variant. Or this is just a no, it's still there. Okay, hold on. Let's make sure. Let's see, outlined, and then refresh. No, that problem still exists. What's up with that? Yeah, what's up with that? Controlled versus uncontrolled. Yeah, so this is supposed to be controlled. So why? Text field label value on change. So floating label. The floating label is absolutely positioned. Yeah, Make sure that the input is larger than the label to display correctly. It is. Limitations. The input label shrink state isn't always correct. Yeah, like that. To work around this issue, you can force the shrink state of the label. Okay. So to do that here, we would need to do this. When I refresh, hey, we just disable it. So one thing that I wanted to figure out. Oh, right. So broadcaster language is the property. Right. So I need to actually read that language. There we go. And also on change. Do that. All right. So now if I refresh, we have a language. I don't actually even mind the tag chips being like touching like this. I think that's fine. So these bits here aren't actually relevant to what I want to do. There we go. So this is what I'm after. And so two sets of things to do. One is implement the components that are currently say to do. And the other is to implement these buttons. So save, I think I may wait until last to do. But essentially it's just calling the modify channel information API function that we made with what's in stream info. The other things here, refresh. So let's say on click equals handle refresh. Sure. Let's implement that. This should look very similar. It's literally the same code that we have here. Can we not repeat ourselves? I don't think we need the abort controller here though. Can we be clever about this and actually leverage the useEffect to trigger the refresh? Also, this is weird. This should be like this. I'd like to help out, but I don't know a single syllable of TypeScript. That's fair. It's pretty much just JavaScript in terms of most everything. The differences are where you want to type. You know, when you're describing the shape of your parameters for functions or what they return and those sorts of things. So if you just like ignore the stuff and the stuff in the brackets, this is just like JavaScript React component land at that point. Like if we were to scroll down here, like you would do the same thing in JavaScript, well, in JSX anyway. So like the current situation is more of a how do I want to handle this from a React component perspective, right? So what I've effectively done is I'm using this useEffect hook, and I'm saying that this code should be evaluated when these things change, which makes sense, right? Because we're using the broadcaster ID and access token to get the channel information. So if those change, then we need to call this again to get the right info. But what I could do is I could either call setStreamInfo. No, that won't change this. It's not reliant on that information. I guess what I could do is I could say const. I don't know. This seems kind of weird, but reload count, set reload count, and then just do this. Now it's complaining because we don't actually use reload count. Is there a better way of doing this? I don't know JS either. And what's React? I'm more of a local programming language guy, Python at the moment, for Arduino, Raspberry Pi, Pico, RP2040, etc. Yeah. I have, I had some projects. I had it's been now, I guess, a couple of years since I worked on it, but I have some Raspberry Pi Picos sitting downstairs in my, I have a big assembly table thing that I made, and I have a bunch of stuff waiting for me there. But I had a project where I was using, it's like an ultrasonic emitter and sensor sort of setup to do detection. Yeah, a bit of C in there for the classic Arduino stuff, yeah. But I was using Rust, and I was compiling Rust down and pushing it onto it, and writing stuff to do like distance detection, because I was going to do a project where I had LED strips on my staircase, on like underneath the stair treads, so that as you walk up the stairs, the light would follow you up. And I actually wrote the code to do the distance detection, and then I just never got around to actually like putting up all the LED strips and writing the code and getting it all set up to do it. But yeah. So it's down there in the basement waiting for me to get around to getting back into doing that sort of thing. Which, I mean, this notwithstanding, the other stuff I've been doing on stream this last year has been a lot of Rust and getting back into that programming language. So it's a bit different doing for kind of an embedded application, but getting refamiliar with the language. So basically, I can, if I just ignore the error here, in air quotes, I can do handle refresh by being like, hey, this handle refresh function can just be like set reload count to be count. We'll just increment it, right? And so what will happen is import export only at the top level. What did I do? It really doesn't. Oh, it helps if I complete the thought. There we go. All right. So, if I hit refresh, see that triggers a, yeah, no, I actually the opposite. I didn't put the closing bracket there. Which is fine. I could have just done it like this, right? That would have been the same thing. Yep. But yeah, so this works. So if I click refresh, it refreshes. So like if I remove some tags and I hit refresh, they come back. So this is like a reset button. So we're just pulling the data back from Twitch. So here's a question. If I refresh, how many times do we hit the Twitch API? Probably twice. Oh, okay, only once. Good. That's good. If you're not careful in React land and you're doing this sort of thing, you can end up in a situation where you may, like, this code might get evaluated multiple times as the component renders. So that's the whole point of like doing all these extra steps, is to make this work in a clean way, and do things like, if I am navigating around in the UI and I like hit the page and quickly leave or navigate around, I'm giving React the information to know how to cancel the request in flight, like including the same code twice in C. Not exactly. This is more of a runtime thing, right? Versus like, also it's been a very, very long time for me since I've written C, right? But talking about like the C preprocessor and using a pound include, not using guard blocks, sure. Yeah, effectively, right? So what this is saying though is this is saying that this effect should only happen when this state changes, right? So when the values located inside of these variables, which is like nested a few times, it basically, think of it like a cache in a way, not literally, but in terms of like, here's a cache key, and when the key changes, then you need to recalculate the thing. And that's like a lot of what front end stuff is effectively fancy caching, or like, I have a bunch of elements that I want to display in the browser, right? And each of those elements needs to be different depending on different state, either internal to the application or being pulled in over the network. And I want to recalculate all the different elements and what they should be, but I don't want to recalculate everything all the time, right? I only want to recalculate what needs to be recalculated based on what's changed. So we have just a big cache problem. And that's what things like React and Redux and all of this front end stuff is, just better, different perspectives on how to solve that problem in a manageable, not annoying way that fits the size of the problem, right? If your app is smaller or bigger, then you're going to have different constraints on how you want to solve that. And there are different like mental models of that as well, right? So that's why there's just the front end JavaScript ecosystem. There's just so much, and it's all changing because you have a bunch of different people with a bunch of different backgrounds at different levels of like computer science knowledge and background, all trying to solve some pretty complicated problems at various different scales. So there ends up being a bunch of different tools. Anyway. But refresh works. That's nice. Populate is the other thing I want to have happen here. I do want to make this warning go away. There. So I'm just going to silence the lint. Okay, so, and then we want populate to happen. That's going to be a little bit different. Handle populate. So the idea with the populate button is that what I want to do, I have some information that's being passed in to this component. We have the stream property, which is the stream event. And the stream event is like in this UI, you can see we have upcoming stream. It's a bit of a misnomer, right? Because it's describing today's stream. This started 2 hours and 20 minutes ago. But this is the upcoming stream because we've not gone past the end of the scheduled time. So in another hour or another 37 minutes and some seconds, this will actually be December 8th at 8:30 because I in this setup I've only put the coding streams in so far. So what I want the populate button to do is I want it to pull the information over here, the category and the tags over to here. And that's going to be interesting because at least the tags will be easy. Like you can just put the tags in here, like replace the tags array with the tags from here. Sort of. Category, I may have to go back and change some things. And then, oh, hey, thanks for the 20 bits.
Dear Marcus 1982 just shared 20 bits.
Cheers.
Go, go, go.
Go, go, go. All right, so we're gonna make a new function. Hang on, populate. So something like that. Well, ooh, actually, let's do this. So we'll do stream info. Yep. So we'll clone whatever's already in stream info and we'll override the title and the tags. Now, this is going to be wrong. Let me look at the upcoming stream component. One of the things I'm doing here is I'm merging the stream tags and the profile standard tags. I guess I'm just going to copy that same code over. Yeah, and I can do that. Put that code in here. So that should work, right? So if notice this set of tags don't include beat. Excuse me. What else are we missing? I didn't put keyboard cam on this stream. Oh no. So if I hit populate, bam, coding on Sundays becomes the title, and then all of the tags appear over here. So then if I add a different tag, right, I think populate will wipe it out. Yeah. Do I want it to pop it out? Do I want it to wipe it out, or do I want to merge? I probably want to wipe it out because I might have like, say tomorrow evening, I'll be doing a Minecraft stream, and then the stream at that point will have the tags from today. So it'll have these tags. And then what I'll want to do is the upcoming stream will say, theoretically would say like, Modern Minecraft Monday, Great to New Horizons Day, whatever. Ooh, a checkbox merge the populate button? Yeah, we could do that. I think a lot of times I wouldn't want to do that. Would there be a use case for, I guess if yeah, potentially. If I had started adding tags, I was like, oh wait, let me break things over. Yeah. We could do that. Let me, I do want to take a note though of one feature I do want to think about is for the stream plan names, having a stream title that has like day in. So having like a template there might be good. I'll put it on the backlog as soon as I find that. Oh, here it is. Add templates for day in to a stream plan name. Is that enough for me to remember what this is about later, so that I can populate that in the stream manager? All right. So what I'm doing is I don't know if you've seen this before, but I'm using GitHub projects. One idea leads to another. Yeah. And what I decided I was going to do is I'm keeping everything in this project, but the actual like code is spread across. What are we up to now? I guess it's 3 repos. We have the main glowing Telegram repo, which was the original kind of mono repo that everything was in, and then I have glowing Telegram video editor, which is going to be my video editor front end component. And then the project that we're working on right now is in glowing Telegram front end. The goal will be all of the front end of the application is going to be moving from here into here. And then I may create more separate repos for kind of standalone components that this front end will use. I will probably also look at some point breaking out crates to publish separately from glowing Telegram, because I think there will be some like reusable stuff from there. Okay, so how do we do a checkbox inside of a button in Material UI? Complex button. That is a very complex button. What is my local time? My local time is now 10:59 a.m. It's UTC -8. Oh, now 11 a.m. I am on the west coast of the US. All right. It's not what I'm after though. Customization, colors, sizes, icons. At one point there was a feature for buttons where there's a little side separate button thing. Loading buttons. Okay, I have 8 p.m. Austria, Central European Standard Time, right? So you're UTC +1. Yep. I'm on a holiday of a sort, starting from last week until the new year. But at my day job, I do work with some folks that are in that time zone, amongst others. It's a very distributed team. Maybe Checkbox has some ideas for how I can put a checkbox in a button. Do I want to have a checkbox in a button? Maybe I want a checkbox next to the button. Ooh, look at that. Do icon checkboxes. Form group, label placement, customization. What's in button group? Can we do, oh, here we go, split button. was the thing that I've seen before. Well, not necessarily in the button. Next to seems all right. Yeah, I'm thinking like this seems okay, right? Where it's visually distinct. If it was literally in the button, it seems like you could accidentally try to click it, but actually click the button. So how does this code work? Like, what is this element? So this is, okay, it's just a button. What if, so it's a button inside of a button group, variant contained. So what if in here, I make a checkbox. Let's see. So first of all, I think that auto import a checkbox in a way I wouldn't want. There we go. I like all my imports being one way, and then we should check in and see what the what's the markup look like for it. I already did this once, didn't I? Let's see, form control label, yeah, something like that. Let's see. So merge. So what does that look like? Does that look like anything? That's actually kind of interesting. Oh, I see. It's because it's not quite. It looked for a moment like it was. Yeah, okay. It's just kind of stuck on there. What is the difference with the import? Oh yeah. So I don't honestly. I probably should go back and check on whether that is a concern or not. But basically, the thing that Copilot keeps doing is it keeps on suggesting imports like this. So you're importing. So the Material UI package re-exports all of its individual components from the top level. But you can refer to the individual file where the component is. And at one point there was guidance that it was better for the eventual like bundled JavaScript that gets delivered to the browser. It would be smaller to import it one way versus the other. I don't know if that's true anymore. I guess I should look at the docs before I tell people, oh, you should do it this way. You should do it that way. How should you do it? So getting started, usage. So their example does it that way. Yeah, that's fine. FAQs, positioned elements, ripple effect. So you can disable like ripple effects and other stuff if you don't like that. I may eventually just get rid of Material UI. Part of why I'm using it right now is the broader context of this application is an administrative interface using a separate library called React Admin. Apparently I'm logged out. And React Admin uses Material UI, although you can change it to use other things. It's just a lot of effort. So because I'm building stuff inside of this anyway and adjacent to it like this, I'm just using Material UI because it's there. And I will eventually want to make it so that it will be manageable to switch to some other thing. I have been liking playing around with Tailwind over the last couple of months. There's a lot of flexibility there. Anyway, let's continue down this rabbit hole of what is the proper way to import components. It doesn't matter. Let's see, overview. Components. I know Material UI from Android only. Yeah, so there's a material design from Google. And here we go. Material UI, MUI, is how I sometimes refer to it, is a open source React component library that implements Google's material design. Right, so the idea is that you can use the React way of building a front end, and you can then use this library, which has pre-built components for like button and checkbox and avatar and badge and chip and lots of like UI metaphor from material design from Google. And you can use these components and then customize them and build your UI out of it. Usage. But it's a design language. Yeah, exactly. As the actual behaviors as well of those components. Yeah. Yeah, so the material design is just like, so it's designed, okay, material design 2, it has guidelines and it describes components, but they're not actually like, this is just describing kind of the design language, right? Of like, what is an app bar? What is a card? How would you use a card? How does it supposed to behave? Those sorts of things. And then this material UI library gives you components. What are chips? Chips are, I have some. oh, you're saying yes, yeah. What are chips is exactly what it addresses, right? So I'm using those chips. Like this is a chip component that I'm using here for the tags. Why? Yeah, that was a code. Yeah. I got there eventually. It's not clear to me if there is one blessed way of importing components anymore, or a recommendation. It doesn't seem to even talk about that. But like if we look at the docs, like for autocomplete, you can see they're importing the individual things rather than importing from the top level. But importing from the top level also does work. So I think it might not matter anymore, but at least I got into the habit of preferring this style of import. So much so that I've just spent the last 5 minutes talking about it. All right, anyway. So we wanted a merge button. Okay, that works, although it's not controlled, so that's not doing anything. Let's see here. What do we need? We need some state to keep track of, is the merge button, is the merge checkbox checked or not? So we'll use state. Is merging default false? So this will be state managing. Does the UI lib also have layout spacers? Yeah, so there are some components for that, like grid. And so it's all under the layout. So like before I was saying I was using stack, which gives you like a horizontal or vertical organization. There's also grid, grid v2, which I've not looked at yet. What's the difference? So it's a responsive layout grid, adapts to screen size and orientation. It fixed some known issues. It simplifies logic. Oh, interesting. So the new grid component uses Flexbox instead of grid. And then you still use container, grid, and item, huh? So like if you want this kind of layout, you do this kind of markup. And then you have different breakpoints and spacing and row and column spacing and responsiveness and auto layouts and all of the things. So like, yeah, to answer the question, yes, because I looked into Android Studio once, Views back way too complicated for me. I can handle layout components within Godot though. Yeah, so Godot is something I have been thinking it would be cool to play around a little bit with doing some game dev stuff again, kind of getting back into that. I was thinking if I was going to do that, I would use Godot, and I would probably do, I would start from making like, I would do some like toy games to start with, like do Pong, do Breakout, do, you know, some, I need to think of like 5 or 6 more, but just like simple ones to kind of get into that again. But yeah, that could be a thing I could do on one of the coding streams at some point, just to break it up from all. I've been working on this project for coming up on a year now. It's nice to work on other things every once in a while. Okay, so the checkbox though. Yeah, so that should update the state. So now the merge checkbox is a controlled component. And then what I want to do is I want to change the behavior of handle populate based on whether it's merging or not, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say tags equals new tags, and we're going to say const. As a fan of Python, I do like GDScript. Yeah, it bears some resemblance, especially if you're recently, in the last year, I have touched Python a little bit again. Python used to be, I was working at a startup a number of years ago, and our backend was written all in Python. But this was, I guess Python 3 was out at that point because it's taken so long. But we were still on Python 2.7, I want to say, at the time. But now you have types, you have typing for Python, and I like that. Yeah, so for this to work, I need to handle the case that tags is actually undefined. So there. And now, so what this will do is this is going to create a new set. So we're essentially merging the tags. Do I care about them? They don't need to be ordered because we're gonna actually, we don't even need to worry about deduplicating. The component does that for us. So we're just gonna do this. Okay, cool. So now if I add a tag like test, and then I click merge and populate, it keeps test. Now if I unclick merge and click populate, test goes away. Ta-da! All right. Well, I think though that I'm gonna wrap up here because there's some food waiting for me. It's been waiting out there for a little while now, but I wanted to make a little bit of progress. So tomorrow evening we'll be doing some modded Minecraft evening my time. So check the Twitch schedule. Awesome. What can be done with just a few lines of code? Exactly. Yeah. And then this same time, this time block on Tuesday, I intend to do another coding stream. Probably more of this, kind of continuing on. And then I don't know if I'm going to be streaming on Wednesday, but probably Thursday morning again. And then Friday, I'll be playing some Satisfactory on stream in the evening. And then repeating the cycle all over again. But thanks so much for hanging out, DeMarcus. We're going to go find someone to raid.